Right now, there is a heavy wave of 80s nostalgia going on. Movies, TV shows, art, music, so much of it is currently either strongly influenced by the 80s or a remake of something. There's a reason why so many movie posters or songs feature strong neon colors and why genres such as outrun or synthwave are so popular and on the rise. However, back when Vice City came out, none of this was anywhere near as strong or noticeable. Sure, some nostalgia existed and manifested itself in the media, but it was relatively minor. Vice City changed all of that. It is the primary reason why there is currently such a strong obsession with the 80s. You can see it not just in the TV shows and cinema movies coming out. It's also noticeable on social media such as YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Songs such as Out of Touch by Hall & Oates keep trending for weeks if not months, and there's thousands of 80s nostalgia dedicated profiles and accounts. And these things are just part of a massive wave. GTA Vice City was the first game to portray and most importantly capture the essence of the 80s in such a detailed and massive way. I didn't grow up in that decade, nor did I ever experience it. All I know about it is what I've seen from movies, shows, art, photography, and stories of my parents. And yet when I play Vice City, I feel like I went back in time. Like I managed to go back into the past with the help of Doc Brown and his DeLorean. I understand that this game is a parody of America and the 80s and that everything here is over the top, but honestly, I'd say that this is actually the most 80s thing ever. It's exactly why Vice City is faithful to the era, because it is the type of game that would have existed back then too if they had the technology. Driving down the neon lit streets is an amazing experience because chances are your car is currently playing one of the hundreds of hair metal or new wave songs. The buildings look authentic, the cars are all inspired by real life brands and their fitting decade models, and that's how they feel and sound. Stealing and driving a Daytona Spider or Ferrari while you're being chased by cops is one of the coolest experiences you can have playing a game. Rockstar Games put a lot of attention to detail into this, like they always do. There's really no other developer out there who puts this amount of effort and dedication into their games. And I'm not trying to dump on other games. There's a lot of titles that I love and hold dearly that had insane details and love poured into them by their developers. But Rockstar Games does things differently. It's interesting because what they do is both obvious and very subtle. For example, pointing a gun at people will cause a panicked reaction by most of them. Some will scream, some will run away, and some won't react at all, probably thinking you're just bluffing. Now, such a reaction is obvious, isn't it? In the real world, you'll likely react the same. But a lot of games don't have that and certainly didn't have such reactions by their NPCs back in 2002. The GTA franchise and Vice City in particular made other game developers strive for more realism in their games, which in turn gave us amazing titles such as Mafia 1 and 2 that are also filled with lots of attention to detail. When you shoot someone, eventually chalk lines will appear around their body and the spot where it was lying. My point was that Rockstar Games brought the 80s back to life with Vice City in a way that no other game to this day, 20 years later, managed to do. I genuinely don't know a single game after Vice City that had such a detailed representation of the 1980s. There were some that were sort of inspired by the decade, such as Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. There's games such as Far Cry Blood Dragon or Retrowave the game, but they are more like subgenres dedicated to certain movies inspired aspects of the 80s and don't really portray the 80s in a realistic way. Vice City might be a parody and over the top, but the world itself, the radio, the cars, the buildings, the themes and aesthetic are as faithful as a game coming out in 2002 could be. How could you talk about Vice City without mentioning its incredible aesthetic and atmosphere? Everything I mentioned so far is important and definitely had an impact on this game and the future of the franchise and gaming industry in general. However, the most important aspect of Vice City and what really sells this game and makes it so unique is its aesthetic. The cars are colorful and a lot more stylish compared to GTA 3. The same can be said about the NPCs walking the streets. Depending on the neighborhood you're in, you will see different types of people and vehicles. If you're in the Ocean Beach area, the cars and pedestrians will be more luxurious and rich. You'll see more Ferrari or Bugatti inspired cars as opposed to the poorer and cheaper ones in the downtown or industrial area. Vice City is a very colorful game. Being this colorful, it manages to capture the spirit of the 80s and Miami perfectly. Even the weapon icons are heavily stylized and a mix between purple, yellow, green, and orange colors. Same goes for your health, time, and money status. Walking down Ocean Beach or any street will give you the feeling of experiencing a beautiful work of art. This game brings an entire decade to life and interestingly did to modern pop culture what Miami Vice did to the 80s. The reason there even is such a thing as Stranger Things should in large parts be attributed to Vice City because it brought the 80s and all the glam of that decade back into the mainstream. Driving down the neon-lit streets at night while listening to In the Air Tonight or Self-Control or Billie Jean is an experience that no other game will give you. It makes you feel like Tony Montana or Sonny Crockett. If you thought that the movie Drive popularized the night drive experience or aesthetic, then you're wrong. It was Vice City. Drive itself took almost all of its atmosphere and aesthetic from this game to the point of it feeling like a movie about a GTA character. No GTA movies exist, but Drive is probably the closest thing, at least to a Vice City inspired modern movie. Even the poster of Drive has similarities with this game. The Vaporwave, Synthwave, and Outrun genres base their music and art heavily on Vice City. Half the art or album covers in these genres feature either imagery from the game or some kind of reference to it. In particular, the Vice City font seems to be most popular. The entire game plays like it was recorded on a VHS tape. You can't shake the feeling like you're seeing a heavily stylized 80s movie or experiencing nostalgia in its purest form. This game is nostalgia done right.